The squeak of sneakers echoed through the basketball court. The scoreboard glowed red against the polished hardwood floor, casting a faint reflection of the game that wasn't yet being played. It was late afternoon on campus. Students filled the bleachers, half watching, half scrolling on their phones, waiting for the scrimmage to start. A group of white college boys gathered near center court, laughing loudly, tossing the basketball back and forth as though the entire court belonged to them. Dylan, the self-proclaimed captain, twirled the ball on his finger, smirking as his friends hyped him up. He had the swagger of someone who thought the court was his stage, and the crowd his audience. That's when Malik walked in. Tall, broad-shouldered, athletic, his backpack slung over one shoulder, earbuds still in. He wasn't flashy, but he carried himself with quiet confidence, the kind that made people look twice. Malik loved basketball. It wasn't just a game to him. It was his escape, his therapy, his second language. Back home, he was the kid who would play from sunrise to sunset, until his mom had to come drag him off the street court with the dish towel still in her hand. Coming to college, he thought joining a game would be simple. Ball is ball, right? He dropped his bag by the bench, tightened his lattices, and stepped toward the group at midcourt. "Yo, you guys need one more?" His voice was casual, polite. The score stopped for half a second. Dylan turned his head, sizing Malik up. Then a crooked grin spread across his face. "Nah, man, we already got 5. Malik glanced at their group. 4 guys stood behind Dylan. He did a quick count in his head. "That's 4. I'd make 5. The other players chuckled. One of them, a short kid with freckles, leaned on his knees. "Yeah, but we don't need charity points tonight." The jab landed like a stone in Malik's chest. His smile faded. He stood there, silent, feeling the sting crawl up his spine. "Come on," Dylan added, dribbling the ball lazily, eyes locked on Malik. "This ain't open run. This is our game." The group erupted in laughter. They high-fived, as if excluding him was some sort of victory. Malik's jaw tightened. He wanted to say something, to call out the disrespect, but before the words could leave his mouth, he noticed the phones. Students in the bleachers were recording. Some smirked, whispering, nudging their friends. To them, it was just another clip for TikTok, another moment of public humiliation dressed up as entertainment. Malik swallowed hard. He didn't want to give them the satisfaction of seeing him break. He forced a small shrug and sat down on the bench, elbows on his knees, head low. His heart pounded in his chest, not from running, but from rage he couldn't show. The game began without him. Sneakers slapped against the hardwood as Dylan and his crew ran plays, laughing, shouting, showing off. Every time one of them scored, they pointed in Malik's direction, as if to remind him he wasn't part of it. And the crowd laughed with them. But Malik stayed silent. His fists clenched so tight his knuckles turned white. His eyes never left the court. Every fake, every crossover, every layup, they burned into his vision like fuel. He didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't give them a reaction. Because deep down, he knew something they didn't. This wasn't the end of the story. This was just the opening chapter. And the humiliation, the laughter, the phones recording, it was all about to become the setup for a moment they would never forget. The game raged on. Sneakers squeaked, the ball smacked the hardwood like a drumbeat. Every shot, every cheer, every laugh, it all blurred together for Malik as he sat on the bench, watching. He didn't belong there, and everyone knew it. At least, that's what they wanted him to think. Dylan was putting on a show, spinning the ball on his finger between plays, shouting fake play calls like he was in the NBA Finals. Every time his team scored, he pointed in Malik's direction, as if to remind him he wasn't part of it. And the crowd fed on it. Laughter rolled down the bleachers like a wave. Some kids zoomed in with their phones, recording Malik's expression, whispering, "Look at his face, he's pissed." Others jeered. "Hey bro, you need a seat warmer? Bench looks real comfy." Malik didn't respond. He sat still, elbows on his knees, eyes sharp and unblinking. But inside, his chest burned. And then it happened. Midway through a play, Dylan fumbled the ball. It rolled near the sideline, just a few feet from Malik's shoes. Without thinking, Malik bent down, scooped it up, and spun it once in his hand. The leather felt familiar, comforting. But when he looked up, Dylan was already there, arms crossed, smirk plastered on his face. "You like touching the ball, huh?" Dylan's voice carried across the court. He leaned in, mocking. "Tell you what, you want to play so bad?" The crowd hushed, sensing something brewing. Dylan dribbled the ball once hard. Thud. The sound echoed. He pointed at Malik. "1-on-1. You beat me, you get to play. Lose," his smirk widened into a grin, "you stay off this court. For good." The crowd roared. Phones shot up instantly, capturing every angle. Students scrambled closer to the sidelines, hungry for drama. "Yo, this is about to go viral!" someone shouted. Malik stood slowly, his 6'3" frame towering just enough to make Dylan take half a step back before covering it with bravado. He set his jaw. "You sure you want that?" His voice was calm, low, almost dangerous. The words caught Dylan off guard for a split second, but the smirk returned. "I want it, unless you're scared." The crowd gasped. "Ooh!" echoed through the bleachers. Malik's eyes narrowed, his fists unclenched. He wasn't scared. He was done being humiliated. He dropped his hoodie on the bench, rolled his shoulders, and stepped onto the court. The court felt smaller now, the air heavier. Students pressed closer, phones raised high like torches. Dylan bounced the ball in his hands, nodding like he'd already won. "Game to 11, 1s and 2s. You're about to learn how this court works." Malik's lips curved in the finest smile. He said evenly, "No, you're about to learn." The challenge was set. The court was no longer just a court. It was an arena, a stage, a battlefield. On one side, Dylan, the self-proclaimed king of the court, backed by his friends and fueled by arrogance. On the other, Malik, the outsider, humiliated, underestimated, carrying not just his pride, but the weight of everyone watching who had ever been told they didn't belong. The referee? The crowd. The jury? The phones. And the verdict? Still unwritten. Dylan spun the ball once, handed it to Malik. The crowd leaned in, silence falling like a curtain. Malik bounced the ball twice, his fingers spread wide across the leather. The humiliation of being left out, the whispers, the laughter, the spit-in-the-face disrespect, it all simmered in his veins, fueling him. This wasn't just a one-on-one game anymore. This was about respect. And Malik was ready to take it. The ball hit the hardwood with a sharp thump. Malik dribbled once, twice, testing the weight in his hands. The court had gone almost silent now, except for the squeak of sneakers shifting on the court and the low hum of phones recording. Dylan crouched low, arms wide, smirk etched into his face. "Come on, big man, show me what you got." Malik's eyes locked on his opponent. He dribbled left, feinting, then darted right. Dylan lunged, chest colliding into Malik with unnecessary force. Malik stumbled, caught himself, but the ball slipped from his grip. The crowd erupted with laughter. "Bro, he can't even dribble. Man sat on the bench for a reason." Dylan scooped up the ball and jogged back behind the arc, tossing it once in his hand. "Easy work," he said loud enough for the whole court to hear. He launched a three-pointer. Swish. The net snapped clean. The crowd roared. Dylan threw up 3 fingers, basking in the noise. 3-0, baby. You sure you still want to do this?" Malik didn't answer. He retrieved the ball, jaw tight, eyes focused. He dribbled again, this time slower, studying Dylan's movements. He drove forward, shoulder down, power in his stride. Dylan tried to block, but Malik spun, pivoted, and laid it in off the glass. The crowd gave a mixed reaction. Some cheers, some jeers. Okay, he got one. But Dylan wasn't done with the mockery. He sneered, "Congrats, charity point." They checked the ball again. Dylan wasted no time, faking left, pulling up from mid-range. The ball kissed the rim, bounced once, and fell through. 5-1, someone shouted. The crowd was starting to buzz harder now, the court filling with energy. Every move was being filmed, every stumble slowed down on Snapchat, every bucket posted live. Malik felt the pressure. Sweat dripped down his temples. His lungs pumped harder. He hadn't even gotten warmed up yet, and already Dylan had him looking like the underdog. But then something shifted. The next possession, Malik slowed everything down. He dribbled between his legs, back and forth, staring straight into Dylan's eyes. The smirk on Dylan's face faltered, just slightly. Malik drove right, planted, spun left. Dylan reached, too late. Malik rose, floated the ball with a smooth hook shot, and it dropped clean through the net. Cheers rippled through the court. "Yo, that was nice!" "Wait, dude can actually play." Dylan scowled, snatching the ball back. He barreled toward the hoop, trying to bully his way in, but Malik planted his feet. He went up. Malik's hand smacked the ball against the backboard with a thunderous swat. The court exploded. "Oh, he blocked him! Put that on replay!" Phone shot higher, capturing the moment from every angle. Malik grabbed the loose ball, dribbled to the three-point line, and let it fly. Splash! Nothing but net. The crowd went wild. Cheers drowned out the laughter now. 5-4! He's catching up! Dylan's face reddened, jaw clenched tight. "Lucky shot," he muttered. But Malik wasn't smiling. He wasn't laughing. His focus was razor sharp, every ounce of humiliation from earlier fueling his drive. Next possession, Dylan tried to get physical, shoving into Malik's chest as he drove. Malik absorbed it, spun, and banked the shot in. Tie game. The crowd erupted again. "It's 5-5!" The energy shifted. The laughter was gone. Now the crowd was leaning forward, chanting, buzzing with excitement. Malik bounced the ball slowly, eyes never leaving Dylan. "Still think I don't belong here?" he asked, his voice calm but sharp as steel. Dylan didn't answer. He was too busy catching his breath, sweat dripping down his forehead, the smirk replaced with something new. Doubt. The game wasn't over, but the tide had turned. And for the first time since stepping on the court, Malik wasn't the outsider. He was the storm. The scoreboard ticked, 6-5. Malik had the lead. The court's atmosphere had flipped on its head. The same crowd that laughed at him minutes ago was now standing, chanting, phones up high to catch every second. Whispers turned into cheers, smirks turned into gasps. But Dylan, he was unraveling. His face was red, his chest heaving. Every shot he missed felt heavier. Every cheer from Malik like a dagger to his pride. He had walked into this game expecting to humiliate the benchwarmer. Now he was the one being humbled, and the crowd could smell blood. "Come on, Dylan," one of his teammates shouted from the sideline. "Lock him up!" Dylan gritted his teeth, dribbling hard, driving into Malik with his shoulder. He muscled up for a layup, only for Malik to swat it again. Bam! The ball ricocheted against the wall, students ducking and screaming. The crowd erupted. "Another block!" Malik didn't even celebrate. He just scooped the ball, dribbled back behind the arc, and stared Dylan down. The room fell into a hush. He dribbled slow, left hand, right hand, between the legs. Dylan crouched, sweat dripping into his eyes, his sneakers squeaking as he shuffled, trying to stay in front. "Don't let him embarrass you, bro!" someone yelled. Malik smirked, for the first time all game. He dribbled left, quick, then snapped the ball right. Dylan lunged, too far. Malik pulled it behind his back, and Dylan stumbled, his knees buckling. Gasps shot through the court. "Ankles! Ankles! He broke him!" Dylan tried to recover, arms flailing, but it was too late. Malik crossed again, lightning fast, then exploded forward. 2 strides, and he was airborne. The dunk came down like thunder. Boom! The rim rattled, the backboard shivered, the court erupted. Students screamed, jumped, stormed the sidelines.
Phones shook as they tried to capture the moment. No way! He posterized him! That's going viral, bro! Malik hung on the rim for a split second, his eyes burning into Dylan's. Then he dropped to the floor, calm, collected, like it was just another play. But Dylan, he was frozen, still bent over where his knees had buckled, staring wide-eyed as the crowd howled with laughter. His teammates buried their faces in their hands. Malik bounced the ball once, hard, and handed it to Dylan. His voice was calm, steady, commanding. Check up. The court roared. The game continued, but the energy was completely different now. Dylan, rattled, couldn't hit a shot. Malik's defenses suffocated him, his confidence shattered. Every miss brought more boos, more laughter. But Malik, he was unstoppable. A jumper from mid-range, a fadeaway, another drive and layup. His movements were smooth, controlled, deadly. The score ticked higher and higher, 7-5, 9-5, 10-5. Match point. The crowd was chanting now, their voices rising in unison. Malik! 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 Dylan, gasping for air, checked the ball one last time. Lucky, he spat, though his voice cracked with exhaustion. That's all you are, lucky. Malik caught the ball, dribbled twice, and smiled faintly. Luck doesn't get you here. He stepped back behind the three-point line. The crowd leaned in. Phone zoomed closer. Dylan shuffled weakly, his legs trembling. Malik pulled up. The ball arched high, spinning in slow motion, the court holding its breath. Swish. Game. The court exploded like fireworks on the 4th of July. Students rushed the court, shouting, recording, chanting his name. Dylan dropped his hands to his knees, staring at the floor, humiliated. His so-called easy win had turned into the biggest loss of his life. And Malik, he didn't raise his arms, didn't gloat. He just stood tall, chest heaving, sweat dripping, eyes scanning the crowd. For the first time that night, the court didn't feel like it belonged to Dylan, or his crew, or the laughter in the stands. It belonged to Malik, and everyone knew it. The court floor was chaos. Students swarmed around Malik, clapping him on the back, thrusting their phones in his face, chanting his name like he had just won a championship. Malik! 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 For a moment, he just stood in the middle of it all, chest rising and falling, sweat dripping down his arms. He didn't need to shout. He didn't need to gloat. The victory spoke louder than anything he could say. But then, through the noise, he saw Dylan. The only one's cocky white player was slumped against the wall, towel over his head, staring at the ground. His teammates hovered nearby, whispering, avoiding eye contact with the cameras capturing everything. The same mouths that were full of insults minutes ago were silent now. Malik picked up the ball. The court slowly quieted, sensing something more was coming. He walked toward Dylan. Each bounce of the ball echoed, sharp and heavy. When he reached him, he dropped the ball at Dylan's feet. His voice was steady, low, but every ear in the court caught the words, "This court doesn't belong to you, doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the game, and you don't get to lock anyone out of it. Respect isn't something you hand out, it's something you earn." Gasps rippled through the crowd, then cheers, then chants again, louder than ever. Phones recorded every angle, every second. Students knew they had just witnessed more than a game. They'd witnessed a statement. Dylan didn't respond. He couldn't. He just sat there crushed under the weight of humiliation, his pride broken where the ball now rested. Malik turned, walked back to center court, and raised one hand. The crowd erupted a stadium. That night, the video hit social media. The title burned across every timeline. They refused to let him play. Now he owns the court. Clips of the crossover, the dunk, and Malik's final words flooded TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Millions watched. Comments poured in. Chills, straight chills. That dunk should be framed in history. This is how you answer hate with skill, not words. By morning, Malik wasn't just the kid they tried to humiliate. He was a symbol, a reminder. Humiliation may sting for a moment, but justice echoes forever. The court went quiet, but the story was only just beginning. Malik didn't just win a one-on-one. He shattered humiliation with skill, turned mockery into respect, and proved a truth no one could deny. And this isn't just about a basketball court. It's about every place where someone is told you don't belong. Malik's decree reminds us all, talent has no color, and respect has no gatekeeper. But now, it's on you. If you believe humiliation should never win, if you believe justice is louder than hate, then don't just scroll. Type justice in the comments to show you stand with Malik and with everyone who refuses to be silenced. Because humiliation fades, but justice echoes forever.